called Good Things, and very befitting for our conversation. Good things come to those who wait. I think many people have been waiting for answers and waiting for change and waiting, to have sort of things established in our city that make things easier for us to make things better, to, implement the solutions that we feel like we have to the problems that we're all struggling and having to navigate through in our city and in our country. And it's such a great honor and privilege to have Nokwazi in studio with us as usual. She's part of OSA Group Business and Entrepreneurship, joined by a very special guest, Mayoral Committee Member Alderman James Vos, talking about economic growth. And we've been getting into the conversation around, is the role of the government to create jobs? And we're going to just dive right back into it. So many things have been said, many websites and information given already. And you can go and check out our StreamYard. If you missed any of it, you can go and follow up on our Facebook page. That's CCFM. On Facebook. But we're going to continue the conversation because there is so much to get into. And I know, Nokwazi, you're burning with some more questions and information. So please, what else do you have on your heart around this?
One of the key things for me is foreign direct investment. And this is why this intrigues me. And I'll explain to entrepreneurs why this is important for you, is that, for example, we operate in the infrastructure space, right? So we do facilities management, property management, everything in relation to the management of infrastructure. So we depend on the big companies that are coming in to invest in our African continent and setting up infrastructure of offices, of buildings, of huge distribution centers, right? Because the bigger the infrastructure, the more scope of services we can provide. And I think that refers to everyone that's in the services space, anyone that's in catering, in cleaning, in construction, everyone plays, right? In the role of the city of Cape Town and your role in the foreign direct investment, right? What opportunities exist for us as SMMEs, and how do we get to participate? For example, if a big Amazon is setting up infrastructure in Cape Town, we look at a wide scope of services. It can empower easily about 100 different SMMEs in that space. But the issue becomes we're not quite sure how to even approach them, partly because we would know that they've got strategic relationships that have been established in order for them to set up infrastructure in Cape Town. Where do we start in that relationship management? Just a very simplistic way for us to understand as business owners.
Nokwazi, that's the $1 million question, right? So your question is on the money there.
Yeah.
And that's really, that's the deal breaker. How do we create more access for small businesses in all of those services industries to get a seat at the big table? Or the way to put it, perhaps, for small business to be able to do big business. And that comes down to the supply development workshops. We've got these workshops running continuously online and in person, where we do B2B matchmaking and support small businesses in their journey of making their product market ready, because that is an important component of business readiness, so that your product is market ready, and then to take your product and connect it with available opportunities in the value chain. And so you've now mentioned the example of a big Amazon setting up their head office in Cape Town.
Yes.
And how do we get smaller businesses to contract services? And that's absolutely through the supplier development program that we run continuously in partnership with various other business partners that will come in and provide us with the guidance and the strategic matchmaking, so that we can find suitable partners and candidates. And so for the city, the role there is business readiness and to provide businesses with the tools of the trade. And so the supply development program and the smart procurement program absolutely speaks to that outcome. Because it's from where I'm sitting, I'm seeing a lot of the foreign direct investment happen, and it does not happen by itself.
Yes.
It happens by design. So a big part of my job is to go out and hunt for these big companies to come and set up shop in Cape Town. And we have a dedicated investment facilitation unit within my department, where we will go out and make a business case for these companies to start their operations here in Cape Town because of our infrastructure, our connectivity, and our business incentives that we provide. And that's also a big draw card. And so in October, I'll be going to London and taking part in the Africa Investment Summit, where I will be speaking for Cape Town and networking with companies that will assemble there, making a case for them to invest in Cape Town. So, and what sits behind that simple making a case are the things that drives the business decision: incentives, land availability, infrastructure, energy. So then I take the whole package and I present it together with our ease of doing business program, because they need to know that when they make the decision to sign on the dotted line, that they will get a government that is responsive to their needs when it comes to construction permits, business licensing, the availability of land, because I'm also responsible for the land holdings portfolio of Cape Town. So we, on a frequent basis, release land to the private sector for private sector development, which is well packaged, well located, so that we make it easier for businesses to take the decision to come and buy the land and set up their businesses here. In Atlantis, we have 96 hectares of land that we have packaged for industrial purposes, which now forms part of the Atlantis Special Economic Zone, where we have put in special incentives and strategic business support for those investors locally and internationally to come and open their factories in Atlantis. But we're doing it across the metro. So we are identifying suitable land that can be packaged for business purposes and releasing that land to the private sector to build their head offices, their factories, and open up their whole supply chain here in Cape Town. And so the foreign direct investment is an important part of our job to position Cape Town as a go-to city in Africa and globally, where companies like Amazon and many others have now set up shop in Cape Town. And so we also have a business retention and expansion program. So the listeners will say, but James is talking a lot about programs today. And that's all by design. So we look at the economy, we look at what's holding businesses back, what's holding the economy back. And we know the answers there. It's energy, mobility, and we are dealing with those. But when it comes to what's holding businesses back, we design programs and platforms that can speak to solutions for those businesses, irrespective of their size. Now in Cape Town, we have 27 industrial nodes, from Epping to Montague Gardens to Blackheath to Stickland, Pardon Island, and so the list goes on. But that's a very unique characteristic of Cape Town's economic landscape, that we've got 27 industrial areas. And so my job is to make sure that those industrial areas not only survive, but thrive. And so therefore the business retention and expansion program, the name says it all. We must stop talking government language, guys. Let's call things by its name. We must go in and see how we can help those businesses retain. And that comes down to productivity. It comes down to a lot of things in terms of their business processes. Because if they produce more, they employ more. So we'll figure out what's holding them back from growing in terms of retaining them in those 27 industrial areas. Because those are places of job creation, economic opportunity. So we need to keep those 27 areas running at full steam, all cylinders. And then the expansion part of the program helps them with access to market, so that if companies in those 27 industrial areas are producing clothes or plastic moldings, you name it, how do we help them export their product to key source markets? And then lastly, because we're a global city, and so the thing here for me is, how do we connect Cape Town with key source markets? We are a long-haul destination. We are at the southern tip of the African continent. So it's very expensive to do business with us in terms of flying here, a very difficult visa system. And so we are around the clock working on connecting Cape Town with more key source markets by landing more direct flights in Cape Town. So we have now 194 international flights landing in Cape Town every single week. That's more than 23 different airlines. And they don't fly here. They do fly here by themselves. They do fly,
we're not helping them with their fuel, right?
We're not helping them with their fuel. But what we are doing, we are going to those airlines and saying to them, choose, what can we offer you? Because for airlines to fly to a city, there needs to be profitability. So they don't just arrive here by chance. It's absolutely by design. So we sit down with these airlines all the time, talking about what drives their profitability for Turkish airline flight to come here. And for a new flight that will come from South America in October, from Sao Paulo to land here. And I've now singled out Turkish Airlines, but it's from all key source markets. We have now 3 direct flights coming in from America,
Delta.
New York, Washington, and Atlanta, which is with United Airlines and with Delta Airlines. We sat down with those airlines, making a business case for them to fly here, because we need to give them 2 things. We need to give them passengers and cargo. And so excuse me if this word is not maybe appropriate to the listeners, but there is a little button here in studio. So because airlines fly, and you must just see to the listeners out, you must see the facial expressions, and she's got a finger there. She's got a finger there. But airlines fly, there's 2 things: bums on seats and boxes in the belly. Was that okay?
That was okay.
That was okay. So you need cargo. You need cargo to come in and out. And that's why we are on this absolute drive to expand Cape Town International Airport with more runway capacity and more cargo handling. It will come. And we are working closely with the Airports Company of South Africa in their planning, because connectivity is what drives supply and demand for business. And so coming down to your question about FDI, foreign direct investment, and all the other things that we do to help businesses grow from the ground up, make them successful, is your productivity. And I'm so happy that you are so passionate about that, Nokwazi, because in future we'll be working closer on that program, because everything comes down to increasing the profit line for business and the bottom line. And it's by production and it's by design. And then ultimately seeing how you can cut red tape. And I know that your listeners have been hearing this for a long, long time. But what you can see now is a willing government that's doing it with our own ease of doing business index, where we will make these 10 indicators, from business licenses to informal trading permits to construction permits, much easier.
And sorry, just to jump in there, does that involve like just finances needed, capital, kind of bridging that gap? Because for some people, they have ideas, they've got business, maybe expertise, but they don't have the capital.
Love the question, and I think we've come almost to the end of our talk. So I like the fact that you're asking me that question, because what's next? So you've heard James speak today. We have a business hub in my department. You can email us at business.support@capetown.gov.za. You can find us on the website, investcapetown.com. And there you'll find all of our activities, the programs we do in community, online. You can also email us your business query, and we can connect you with funding agencies. So as the city government, we don't provide direct funding to an individual business. We provide you with a network and the support to connect you with the Small Enterprise Development Agency and other partners. And so it's a complete business help desk that will connect you and provide you with all of the guidance needed. And the calendar is on the website, and all of the other important conversations, topics that we've covered, from the incentives that we provide, etc. So please reach out to my team. Let's see how we can help you. And of course, if we can't, we'll design a program. We'll come up with a solution, because that's how you approach the economy. Think out of the box and shake things up.
You know what? We honor you greatly, Alderman, on behalf of CCFM, on behalf of the GM, on behalf of the heads of department, everyone that stands for CCFM, because firstly, I think they're the most phenomenal radio station in Africa, by the way. And I honor you for your time and just how you guys are not just saying things. We can see evidence on the ground, because we are entrepreneurs, we're business owners. We've seen the eradication of red tape. We've seen you guys guys being accessible to us. We've seen you guys getting onto platforms, and we invite you guys to come and speak. This Carlo Visi and his team, and they just come on board and they tell us with Andile, this is what they're doing around creating access to markets, creating access to capital. And we've seen them collaborating for greater impact with organizations such as OSA. So I look forward to have you as my keynote speaker on the upcoming Business and Entrepreneurship Conference. And we're going to close this off. I want to talk about youth.
We've got only 20 seconds.
Okay, 29th.
Maybe let's just throw forward to the fact that we've got a career expo coming up. Nokwazi is very excited about it. And exactly this, if you're struggling, if you're in the sort of that youth bracket, or if you're just unemployed and you're looking for ideas, you're looking to break into the market and to any industry, please do follow up, ask us how you can get involved in the Career Expo. We'll share some information soon as well, and then we'll follow up the conversation in a little bit. So you want to stay tuned to CCFM because we've got some more information regarding that, and then just how you can get plugged in. But talking about plugged in, just before we go, could you give us a list of some of those websites and those email addresses that you mentioned for anyone who is interested in anything that we spoke about today?
Of course, that would be my great pleasure. And I would like your listeners to go and check out all the programs. The websites are very interactive, so you can find the calendar of events, all of the business training workshops, all of the incentives. You'll find it online at www.investcapetown.com, or you can email us at business.support@capetown.gov.za. And you can also go and check out the City of Cape Town's website, where you'll find the Business Hub details, and that's www.capetown.com/business hub. So those are the three contacts, and I look forward to engaging with you, and maybe in future, let's see how my department can come on board with your Career Expo.
Yes,
because we're launching the Jobs Connect program soon, which is aimed at young people that are looking for a job, and we can then connect them to all of the available job opportunities in the private sector.
Absolutely wonderful. Thank you so much for your time, Alderman James Vos, who's with us, Mayoral Committee Member of Economic Growth, and of course our entrepreneurship guru, Nokwazi here with OSA Group Business and Entrepreneurship. We're going to run to news now, but stay tuned. We'll give you some more